Hi, my love, story, my lady girl from around the way, where we have culture, conversation, and community. And in today's video, I'm coming to you all with some conversation, I guess we can say. Let's call this a conversation, y'all. You know, today marks the first day of Black History Month, so I wanted to come to y'all with some good energy on this good Thursday, February 1st. Now, before I get into our little conversation, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Yeah, y'all, we're getting to the phase in the space of where we're just going to be bringing different things to the channel. The girls that get it. The girls that don't, I see y'all over on Mondays for Zeus. And now that's TV content. But y'all, I just want to shake the table a little bit. Can we get into it for that? I mean, wherever you are under the sound of my voice, girl, do the things that you thoroughly enjoy. I, for one, enjoy history. So let's get into it. I wanted to just really kind of have this conversation around Black History Month. You know, the Shade Room had posted the very infamous Bobby and Whitney. We need to have a Black History, because period.
Sure, it's Black History Month.
Excuse me?
Black History Month.
We need a longer month.
Black History Month, we need the whole year.
We need a longer
Black
month.
History Year. How about Black History Year for 1 year?
Yeah.
Out of every 2 years. 1 year, Black History Year.
All right.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling in the spirit, and I'm never in the spirit. If y'all been here for a while, I don't really go into, happy Memorial Day. So I figure on the first day of Black History Month on this good old Thursday, why the fuck not? So let's just get into it, y'all. Black History Month, as we know it today, started in 1926. Okay, we all know that it was founded by Carter G. Woodson, who himself was a historian. I think he had some sort of group. I don't really remember the name of it, but he had a group of like African American literacy or African American academics or something. Maybe I'll put it on the screen. And it was this group who decided to have start the Black History Month week. And it was founded to pretty much celebrate the contributions of African Americans in the country up until that point. They decided for it to be in February because it aligned with Abraham Lincoln's birthday as well as Frederick Douglass. So everybody's like, I think it's such a conspiracy theorist that we only get 28 days out of it was because of Abraham Lincoln's birthday. And at this point in time of history, Abraham Lincoln was revered as the father, who freed the slaves and everything like this. And although, the Emancipation Proclamation was the beginning of the end of what we know as like chattel slavery in servitude, because we know slavery has now changed its appearance. But most historians will tell you that he was the one who kind of started this whole abolishment of slavery. That's not completely true. We know that the Abraham Lincoln had other, not even just him in general, I'll just say the North had other vested interest on the South being too powerful and becoming too economically in control of the state in general. And it was about power. It was about money. It was about the fact that, the people in the South had all of this free labor and they were able to kind of reign supreme over the North, and they didn't like that. So although we always like to say, he wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, like that's not complete. I mean, he did, that is true, but there were other things that were at stake. North was losing its, status of power in terms of economics, and we had all of these people in the South who were looked at as less than. I mean, we still have that stigma today where, you're from the South, you're stupid, you don't really know. And they were like, oh, hell no, these people got all these free slaves and free labor and are making all this money more than us educated Northerns. Oh, hell no, they're in with slavery. And it's kind of how it happened. And Frederick Douglass, obviously, he was an abolitionist himself. What is he, the great-great-great-grandfather of Brother Dr. Ntunde, famously known as Dr. Umar Johnson, who, we all love and respect. But I'm only saying this to say that we really have to be in control of the narrative when it comes to Black history and us telling our own stories. And this is the only reason why I'm like, you know what, I'll make this video. Some of y'all be fooling around with it. Some of y'all may not. It's really not about that. It's just the fact that we need to tell our stories. All right. We need to have these kind of conversations, period, point blank. And for that, make sure you like and subscribe. Shameless plug. Can't help myself. Okay. It's capitalism. Anyway. So History Week ended up leading educational instructors to kind of get materials for these things. So, they obviously had the issue of, there were segregated schools. So the people in the black schools were learning about black history in a new way. And I think that it's interesting that black history was just about the celebrations of the contributions of African Americans. This is why back in the day, if you're a 90s kid, that, the guy who made the peanuts and the guy who made this, that, and the third. I feel like Black History Month has turned more into a celebration of culture versus a celebration of who created the doorknob, although that's very important to know and to note. But so anyway, back to the schools. Some of the schools weren't having it. Like in the South, they were just like, no, we don't need to know about you. You know what I'm saying? And then the black people, they, instructors started to kind of develop. And I feel like the schools kind of helped turn it into a bigger thing, right? Because each year you want to know more and more and more and more. And imagine being, a young girl in 19, let's just say 27. This is the first time you've ever seen anything about yourself being celebrated. Because let's keep in mind, there was only a few hundred years that had gone by where black people weren't considered less than human. So now we have this person who was just considered less than human. I know we say that so often, we're like desensitized to it, but imagine being considered less than human. And now we're going to celebrate your contributions to this country in 1927. I can imagine it being very exciting. The kids are coming home telling their, mom and dad who just worked in the field all day, because they were still sharecropping and still tending to the land, or your mom who just came home from, her job of servitude, and having this young child being excited about learning some of their history. I think that's a beautiful image in my mind. Anyway, schools with black students, I really feel like it was kind of like a call to action for black people to kind of wake up and discuss their achievements. Like, hey, yeah, not only are we more than, we are human. Okay. Dare I say gods. Okay. Child, don't get me going down a rabbit hole, because y'all know I can. But also too, like, there's a call to action to kind of learn more about our history and who we are, and how we kind of contributed to this country. 50 years later, President Ford ended up, making it a month. And, it's celebrated. It's cute. It's, we need a whole month to kind of, talk about the people who were disenfranchised, to kind of, give them their flowers, so to speak. I mean, it would have been nice to give us a check. But, 50 years later, it turned into an actual Black History Month. And I feel like Black history today doesn't really kind of hit in the way that I want to say it used to back in the day. It used to kind of feel some sort of excitement and pride. I think that that's changing. I think that we are starting to, I feel like for a moment it kind of went away, and now it's kind of coming back. Before, it kind of became commercialized. Oh, support black business. It's Black History Month. Buy my bundle sale for Black History Month, which, I'm not opposed to either, because again, capitalism, like and subscribe. But I think that I want to get back to just the roots of it all, and storytelling, and being orating, because that's essentially how our history got passed down. A lot of people didn't read, a lot of people didn't write, so they had to tell stories. And this is my contribution of sharing, and I hope that it inspires somebody to do that as well for themselves and their family, or even your colleagues, girl, or whoever you're talking to. You on the phone with that nigga, make sure you tell that nigga something too. You feel what I'm saying? Anyway, I feel like Black History today is cute. We're doing our own little thing. We got our coupon codes. Back then they didn't want it. They felt like we were in segregated schools. And then nowadays they want to just change it. They're calling people history revisionists, Trump, and all of these things. A lot of people are talking about critical race theory. I don't know. I don't really have like a Webster's dictionary term for what critical race theory is. In a nutshell, I think that it's a group of people who feel like they want to stop with the education of telling children that racism was baked into the nation and, formation and ingrained in our legal, our health, our finance, and our education systems, right? Which, when you think about that, how could it not be? How could it not be? After capturing and enslaving people just based off of their location, inability to defend themselves, and ultimately You separated the humanness from them, brought them to this land, subjugated them to years and years and years of terror for your legal and your financial gain and benefit. Call them subhuman, then terrorize them for an additional 200 years after slavery based on the color of their skin. How can white people really say that racism wasn't baked into the nation information of this country? Truly, that is what critical race theory is. Okay. And, we have states like Florida under the rule of Ron DeSantis, you know what I mean? DeSantis, is it DeSantis or DeSantis, child? I don't fucking know. But he has like really aggressive laws that are, against teaching and limiting teachers to kind of explain anything like that. And these teachers, listen, again, they don't want to lose their job. Capitalism. Hello, like and subscribe. So they don't even want to go against the grain if they're going to lose their job. Now they behind on their mortgage. Now they behind on their rent and they homeless. What's worse than a poor black person, a poor white person? This country is designed for them to thrive, right? And, we have kids who don't really understand the history in the way that is actually happening. They don't want their white children feeling like their ancestors did all of those diabolical things that they did. So they want to change the law so that way we don't teach our children. And then honestly, this is why I think it's, again, important to go back to storytelling, passing things down a generation to generation. Because before Black History Week, or Negro History Week is what it was called, that's what you had. Black people had journals and diaries and things of that nature. Think about the Tulsa Massacre. A lot of people never really came out and spoke about it. It wasn't in history books. It wasn't until people started collecting journals and diaries and, generations had gone past, and before their final dying day, they decided to kind of discuss it and talk about it. We don't even have any Black newspapers or Black media that's not talking about, Trishawn and Blueface, myself included. I could do a better job. Hence, again, this is why I'm here today. So with knowing that these people are trying to change history, keep people from knowing what's actually happening, white, Black, or anything indifferent or anything in between, is very, very critical to kind of fight against that, because we all know that, history repeats itself. But if you don't know what the history is, you can kind of lead back down that same kind of pattern because we haven't studied the patterns and we don't really know. I know if somebody comes around and starts to, mimic the life of, the guy who slain a whole bunch of people over in Germany, I don't want to say the name, they're gonna be like, hold on, this is a pattern like so and so, let's do something to stop it. But when people don't understand and know the patterns, it's like, oh yeah, well, this is totally fine, because we don't see it in this way because of these things like critical race theories and people putting up blocks to education. So wherever you are, and understand my voice, whether you Black, brown, or somewhere in between, please be responsible for keeping the legacy, keeping the knowledge going and flowing, even if it's just a quick conversation. Okay, period. That's all I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoy this video. I'm going to be doing more podcast style videos because, there's a lot of things shaking and moving. I want to do a story time this month too. Like, I have so many, I don't know if this is appropriate or not. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I want to do like some story times detailing issues involve discrimination. Because I have a lot of them. I lived in a very, very racist town in the early years of my childhood, and I went to a PWI. Like, I just have so many stories, and I just feel like I want to just start talking about my experiences as a whole and how they shaped me as a Black woman. Y'all, I'm real Black out here in these streets. I want you to know that. I don't just be saying it because it's cute. I love us for real. Like, in my real life, in real time, on my soul, this is what it gives. Anyway, I'm out of here. Happy Black History Month. Like and subscribe to the channel. As always, I'm sending you much love and light, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.